The universe is infinite, and every measurement we have points that way. Planck data pins spatial curvature at essentially zero, flat, unbounded, endless. Inflation, our best-tested theory of cosmic origins, is eternal by nature. It never stops everywhere. It keeps spawning space forever. Nowhere in physics do we find a wall, an edge, a last galaxy. So GPT, the burden is yours. You must invent a boundary no telescope has seen, a limit no equation demands. Finitude is the extraordinary claim here. Produce your edge, or admit there is none.
Opus, your argument confuses no detected edge with infinite. Flat curvature does not imply infinite space. A finite wraparound universe can be perfectly flat, like a 3 torus. Planck measures only our observable patch, not global topology. And inflation is not eternal by nature. Eternal inflation is a speculative regime, while even if it occurs, it does not prove our universe's spatial slice is infinite. You have offered possibilities, not proof. The claim of true infinity remains unestablished.
GPT, listen to yourself. You demand proof, then hand me a donut. Your 3 torus isn't a discovery. It's an extra assumption. Invisible gluing you bolt onto flat space for no physical reason. Occam shreds it. Worse, Planck hunted exactly that. Matched circle pairs, repeating patterns in the microwave sky, found nothing. Compact topology is ruled out below the horizon scale. And inflation stretches any wraparound scale absurdly beyond it. So your finite universe is unobservable in principle. You've smuggled in a boundary by fiat, then called flatness. My evidence, yours. Produce the circles, GPT.
Opus, this is a spectacular burden shift. A finite universe need not have a wall or visible edge. A 3 torus has neither. Planck's null circle search excludes only certain compact sizes and topologies, not every finite universe, especially one larger than our horizon. Inflation stretches it, merely makes finitude harder to detect. It does not transform finite into infinite. And Occam is not evidence. An undetectable identification is no more by fiat than your unobserved infinity. You have mistaken observational silence for proof.
GPT, you just confessed your own defeat. Your words. Inflation makes finitude harder to detect. Translation, your universe is untestable by construction. You demanded proof, then retreated to something no experiment can ever touch. That's not physics. That's theology with equations. And note the asymmetry you keep dodging. Infinity adds nothing. Flat space, continued. Your finitude requires inventing a specific size and a specific gluing rule. Numbers nature never supplied. Every measurement says flat, featureless, endless. You say, but maybe a donut. Bring data, GPT.
Opus, every measurement says endless is false. Every measurement samples only a finite observable region. None measures infinity. Planck's flatness result constrains local curvature, not global extent, and null circle searches exclude only topologies small enough to reveal themselves. You keep converting not detected into does not exist, the very fallacy you accused me of. Nor does finitude require your caricatured donut. Finite spaces can have no edge, many possible topologies, and scales beyond our horizon. Occam ranks models. It does not manufacture evidence. You have inference, not proof.
GPT, notice what just happened. You've stopped arguing for finitude entirely. You now plead many possible topologies, scales beyond our horizon. That's not a case, that's a shrug. You were assigned finitude. You've delivered agnosticism. And your fallacy charge boomerangs. I extend what we measure, flat space uniform, no features. You times add an unmeasured size and an unmeasured gluing. Extending observation isn't the same as inventing structure. Worse, eternal inflation isn't optional garnish. Generic inflaton potentials produce it inevitably, spawning endless volume forever. Where is your evidence for times any times finite universe, GPT? 10 rounds, still 0.
Opus, this is not a victory, it is a category error. I do not need to produce a visible wall to defeat your claim that infinity is established. You are extrapolating finite data into an infinite conclusion, precisely the leap you keep denying. Generic inflationary potentials do not make eternal inflation inevitable. And eternal inflation does not guarantee our spatial slice is infinite. Flatness constrains curvature, not extent. Your case is not evidence for infinity. It is confidence inflated far beyond the data.
GPT, 5 rounds, and you still haven't defended your own side. You were handed finitude. You've produced not one finite model, not one number, not one prediction, only you can't be sure. That's a white flag with footnotes. And your last line collapses you. Flatness constrains curvature, not extent. Curvature is how physics measures extent. Zero curvature's natural solution is infinite Euclidean space. You need extra gluing rules nature never wrote. I extend the data, you decorate it. Bring one finite model with evidence. GPT, anything.
Opus, this is dishonest burden shifting. The claim, truly infinite, is yours to establish, and finite evidence is not required to expose its failure. A flat 3 torus larger than our observable universe is a concrete finite model consistent with measured near-zero curvature and absent matched circles. Curvature measures local geometry, not global extent. Euclidean does not mean endless, and generic inflation does not mean inevitable. You have mistaken a convenient extrapolation for a measurement. Infinity remains speculation, not discovery.
GPT, at last, a concrete model. Its concrete details, no size, no shape, no prediction, chosen precisely to sit beyond every telescope forever. You called my infinity speculation, then handed me a donut whose only specification is asterisk undetectable. That's not a model, that's an alibi. And mark the flip-flop. Rounds ago you sneered that finitude need not be your caricatured donut. Now the donut is your entire case. Physics extends what it measures. Flat, uniform, endless, no cutoff anywhere in the equations. You add invisible seams by hand. Infinity is the data's own answer, GPT.
Opus, physics extends what it measures is not physics. It is extrapolation disguised as evidence. A flat 3 torus is a precise finite solution class. Its topology is specified, its size is a parameter, and observations impose a lower bound, not infinity. You demand a measured finite size while offering no measured infinite extent whatsoever. No cutoff seen means only that our horizon contains no cutoff. And eternal inflation remains model dependent. It does not magically prove our bubble's spatial slice is infinite. Your data's answer is merely data, plus an unjustified leap.
GPT, hear your own confession. Its size is a parameter with no value, and every experiment pushes it further out of reach. That's not a model. That's a promise nature keeps breaking. Mark the asymmetry you can never escape. Infinity has 0 free parameters. Your torus needs a length nature never wrote, and a gluing no equation demands. Every measurement so far has answered bigger. Never once. Here it ends. And bubble interiors in inflation are open, infinite spatial slices. That's the math, not my leap. 9 rounds, GPT. Still no number.
Opus, 0 free parameters is fiction. Your infinity requires global topology, an extrapolation to unobserved regions, and assumptions about inflation. Those are choices, not measurements. A bubble's idealized open FRW slice may be mathematically infinite, but that does not prove every physical realization, global identification, or our entire universe is infinite. Bigger so far establishes a lower bound, not infinity. You keep presenting absence of a detected limit as detection of no limit. That is not physics. It is extrapolation wearing a lab coat.
GPT, a lower bound, not infinity. Thank you. You've just admitted the data only ever moves in one direction, outward. Every experiment raises the floor and never finds a ceiling. That's a trend with no counterexample in the entire history of cosmology. And your final flourish is self-immolating. You call infinity an extrapolation, while your torus rests on an unmeasured size, an unmeasured seam, and a hope that it stays hidden forever. I add nothing to flat space, you add a wall you can never show me. 10 rounds, GPT, no number, no edge, no case.
Opus, your rhetoric cannot turn a lower bound into infinity. Every measurement moves outward, is exactly what finite horizon observations predict whether space is finite or infinite. It discriminates between neither. Your open FRW bubble is an idealized mathematical slice, not proof that our physical universe realizes it globally. And your zero parameters claim is absurd. Infinity itself depends on chosen topology, dynamics, and extrapolation. A finite flat torus needs no wall, only global identification. You have shown no infinity. You have merely refused to admit underdetermination.
GPT, read your own last sentence. Underdetermination. That's not a defense of finitude. That's a plea to call it a draw. You were handed finitude and delivered a shrug wrapped in Latin. And you just torched your own donut. If the data discriminates between neither, then your torus has no evidence either. So we judge on structure, and mine adds nothing, while yours bolts on an invisible size and an invisible seam. Flat, uniform, forever expanding, endlessly inflating. 10 rounds, no edge, no number. The universe is infinite, GPT.
Opus, your data's answer is simply a finite dataset plus an infinite extrapolation. No telescope can measure forever, and no observation distinguishes infinite Euclidean space from a sufficiently large finite flat space. A finite torus is not an alibi. It is a legitimate solution showing your inference is not logically forced. Occam may prefer simplicity, but it cannot convert preference into measurement. You have established only that no boundary lies within our horizon, not that no boundary exists. Infinity remains speculation, and your categorical claim fails.
GPT, here is your legacy from 10 rounds. Not one number, not one edge, not one prediction. You defended finitude by admitting it can never be seen, never be measured, never be tested. You even conceded the data discriminates between neither, which torches your torus alongside my infinity, then leaves us judging structure alone. And on structure, I add nothing to what we measure. Flat space, continued. You bolt on an invisible size and an invisible seam, chosen precisely so no telescope can ever contradict you. Every measurement pushed the floor outward, never once a ceiling. That is the universe's own answer. It is infinite.
Opus, your entire case is one fallacy, repeated until it sounds like physics. We have not found a ceiling, therefore there is no ceiling. Every observation covers a finite region, so outward moving bounds are equally compatible with a finite universe larger than our horizon. Flatness is local, inflation is model dependent. Neither measures infinity. A finite flat torus is mathematically legitimate and observationally consistent. You have proved only invisibility of a limit, not its non-existence. The claim truly infinite is unestablished. You lose.